This is this has got multiple implications. I think this story are very interesting. When you pair it with Donald Trump's post on Truth Social, I think that we are headed towards what many conspiracy theorists have been predicting for a long time. You know, when they say like they're going to ration our fuel, they're going to ration our food, you know, there's got to be a reason for that. You know, I've always, you know, and that's what maybe we're headed towards here. UK basically in the war but denying it. Well, yeah, 100%. We are, and we're being forced into the war. That's what I said on my video. I said that if it's, you know, we currently rely on America for about 25%-ish of our oil and our fuel, and so if half of our energy imports are cut off, then we're going to be relying on America a lot more. And that means that we are with them. We have to get the Strait of Hormuz open because it's massively in our interest now. And yeah. So otherwise we're just, you know, and also Europe as well. It's not just about the UK, it's also Europe. So yeah, I actually filled up earlier. I hadn't actually filled up my car until earlier, and yeah, we haven't really seen anything yet. Unless there's a joint military operation and they go into the Strait of Hormuz and they open it up by force, or they go to Carg Island or whatever they do. Unless that happens, we are going to be, yeah, we're going to be suffering a lot. So that's why I feel like this is the play. This is the play to drag us in and just make it so it's not even an option. Starmer is sourcing drones from Temu, 3 for £20. The Jews got America by the balls. True. We are cooked, not gonna lie. And food getting well expensive. We don't predict, they tell us their plans. No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's honestly true. This is worth it to help our brothers. Okay, I'm not even gonna read that. Can't even read that shit. Blame Muslims. I like how the comment didn't get taken down. Which comment? Oh, the Jews got America by the balls, yeah. Well, you know, I've actually thought that before, and what I then thought afterwards was, well, if everyone's balls were a bit bigger, then they wouldn't be able to have such a firm grasp. So if people had a bit more testosterone, basically, then they wouldn't be able to control them so easily. That's what I thought before. So yeah, I mean, look at this mess. Look at this as well, right? This is actually a crazy tweet. Like, I don't think you understand. Yeah, I don't think you understand how crazy this tweet is. All of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the UK, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, buy from the US and build up some delayed courage and go to the Strait and just take it. Like, what? No one is, like, who is reading that thinking, yeah, they're just going to do that? No, it's always like, I don't know why they have to bluff like this. I don't know why they don't just speak normally. I don't know. But you have to start learning how to fight for yourself. It's just like, special relationship, by the way. Special relationship. Hello from Iran. Hi. We all need bigger ones. I've been thinking about circumcision, I just can't get my head around it. Do you see Trump, he already done regime change? He said he already done it, yeah. Well, technically they decapitated the regime, but they are still there. All they've done is made the regime more emboldened and more powerful because it's like the sun, isn't it? It's like the sun, and it's like these people have done well. They've successfully defended Iran against Israel and America are on the back foot. So they've galvanized not only the people inside the regime, but also the masses around the regime. You know, people thought that, did anyone actually think, I mean, I was worried about this because you had people like Tommy Robinson talking about it, saying it was going to happen, saying that the Iranians are going to take their country back and there's going to be a bottom-up revolution. Nah, and that just never, and that never happened, and it's definitely not going to happen now because these people must love the regime. They must have respect for the regime. Or at least more than they did before. But those who were indifferent maybe before about the regime are now in favor because they've defended them. So yeah, bonkers stuff. I wonder how the Iranians who danced for him feel. I think that was all propaganda. I don't think, like how you saw with Venezuela as well. You saw these, like, I mean, there were some real ones, but I think that these videos that come out of, like, Tommy Robinson or any kind of other propagandist where they show, or any media outlet where they show, like, dancing happy Iranians, it's like, you have to really take that with a grain of salt. Nothing unites a people more than bombing it. They're in it together. It's so true. Reese, is Satan worship real? Saturn worship? Well, I think, yeah, because they have the cube. They have the black cube. Most people thought Iran would crumble in a week. Yeah, I think that's, yeah. I think that they definitely underestimated Iran, and I mean, I don't really know. Well, the thing is that if you remember, Tucker Carlson did an interview with Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz was talking about how he's a steadfast Israel supporter, and that's one of the reasons why he got into politics and he loves Israel, and that they're going to have to topple the regime because they despise the regime and it's so bad. Tucker Carlson says, what's the population of Iran? And he doesn't even know. So these people are just so blinded by their, American supremacism. They believe that, even though it's partially true that America are a superpower, they believe that they can just do anything that they want. They believe that they can go in and end the Russia and Ukraine war in one day. They believe that they can topple Iran and have no problems. Which is contradictory to history, right? Historical regime change interventionism, apart from the odd one here and there, like Venezuela. So, though if it had to be done in the same vein as Venezuela, it'd be much less controversy. True. Do you think China is compromised to Israel? I have not seen any evidence of that, but maybe I'm missing something. I haven't seen you in forever. Well, here you go. Ted Cruz is an absolute parasite. I agree. Do you see how the last Shah of Iran was anti-Semitic? I did. Yes. I think both sides of the political spectrum, though, thought this war was a terrible idea. Yes, I wouldn't really call it a political spectrum. I'd call it a Zionist spectrum. How much of a Zionist are you? Because anyone who is anti-Zionist would have been opposed to it. Anyone who isn't a Zionist, not even anti-Zionist, but is kind of indifferent, like people like Matt Walsh, would have been opposed to it. And so, yeah, I wouldn't even say it's about politics. It's about how much are you on the side of Zionism and do you know what I actually thought about? I've thought about a phrase called the Jewish trifecta, right? Which is this, right? The Jewish trifecta over Western nations is that, for example, Jews will get people behind America to bomb Iran, and there'll be that faction. There'll be the Israel lobby, the Israelis, and the radical Zionists that will get you behind Middle East interventionism. Then there's the Jews who will say refugees welcome because the first Jews have created refugees. And then there's the third part of the Jewish trifecta, which is your false idol in a right-wing politician who says he's going to deport the refugees or the immigrants that have been flooded in, whether it's from the war or not, whether it's from the war or just Jewish immigration policy, refugees welcome, anything like that. That's the Jewish trifecta that suffocates the West. Some people say world Jewry or international Jewry. I would say it's the Jewish... I thought about this, the Jewish trifecta, because that's exactly what Donald Trump is. He is a Shabbos goy, clearly. I mean, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, he's got Mark Levin wrapping his arm around him saying this is the first Jewish president. And he is the one who will pretend to care about immigration and stop refugees from entering, but then will be a total, populist. He'll be a Trojan horse. And then it kind of goes back in the circle. He then bombs Iran. So it's like Bush bombs Iran, and then or rather, you have Bush with Iraq, and then all of the other parts of the Middle East, and then you have this massive refugee crisis, which is propagated more by Jewish people, Jewish oligarchs, and groups, neoliberal groups, And then there is a new right-wing populist who is controlled by Jews, who will then get you into another war, and then the cycle continues. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. That's the Jewish trifecta. Don't forget Bush, senior and golf, 100. I mean, yeah, as I say, it's kind of it's actually crazy. It's like a hamster wheel, almost. Your countries are causing immigration. What Israel was doing to Lebanon has caused 1 million to flee. Well, that's not my country. I oppose Israel. I strongly oppose Israel. Opinion on gold as green. Well, yeah, this was clearly a ploy by, the Jews to replace some of their ambulances, create a bit of anti-Semitism, in the papers. Oh, look, there's anti-Semitic things happening. Maybe blame it on Iran, and take taxpayer money and take donations. It screams Jewish, I have to say. So, yeah. You reckon North Korea is anywhere near as bad as we are made to believe? Well, I would say that it is pretty bad. I don't think it's a great place to live. I certainly wouldn't choose to live there instead of the United Kingdom. But in a similar way, maybe Russia, like they did there, they say it's the worst, or Vladimir Putin's a crazy dictator. Maybe there's something, because they don't have a Rothschild central bank. So that's probably where the criticism really comes from. That's why they demonize it. I don't think that the media really cares about North Korea being a dictatorship and an oppressive regime, and or anything like that. In the same way that the democracy spreaders throughout history, which typically comes from Zionist Expansionism, we want to spread democracy in Middle Eastern countries, or we want to have or Venezuela, that's kind of it's like a They make you think, dislike them because they're communist, dislike them because they don't have democracy, as opposed to because they don't comply with the New World Order. They don't have a Rothschild central bank. 13 families with unimaginable power to direct their agenda. Your country is the main reason why Israel even exists during World War II. Okay, I know it. And so with and Germany as well. The Nazis during Germany. The Nazis during World War II, rather. The National Zionists. Let me take this off now. Oh, whoops. Oh, that's fine. Oh my god, I can't. Alright, we're good. You are blatantly anti-Semitic. It's sad to see you blame your problems in life on Jews. Okay. What are your thoughts on the stock market? Quite a general question. Do you mean just in general? Or I don't know what you mean. Where should I go, Reece? My family got kicked out of Palestine during World War II and came to England. Fair. Well, if I was you, I'd go to Poland, maybe. Try and learn the language. I don't know. But I don't know if they're going to let you, though. Their immigration policy isn't so lenient. Dictatorships only matter to the West when Israel has a problem with it? Yes. Your country is the main... Okay. Do you agree with Blair giving the Bank of England independence from the state? No. North Korea watching. Epstein is an Israeli asset and he has a lot of blackmail on Trump. Forks are found in the kitchen. No, but yeah. North Korea leader isn't the one making the rules. He's a Masonic puppet to the Jesuits. Okay. Would you ever go to gold as green? Probably not. Investing in stocks. Oh, investing in stocks. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I don't really, if you have money, you should invest in stocks. You should look at what happens in the world. And you should put money one place or another. If you have like 10 grand or more. Or maybe 50 grand or more, because you can make money. But it depends really, because you can always put your money in weapons manufacturers, and that's always going to return. You can always you can always look at world events and think what's going to increase or decrease. You could always really put your money in AI until that bubble bursts. It's just I don't really do it, no, personally. I used to do it. I used to have money in Lockheed Martin and all these other big weapons manufacturers, and And I used to have gold as well. And I used to have, yeah, so. Jew finance methods, yeah, you could say that. Can I put my money on you, lad? No. Palestine refugees welcome to live in the country that ruined their homeland and created a T-state. Palantir stock, yeah. Ops on Nick Fuentes. I think Nick Fuentes is, as I said before, is, I would say, one of, if not the most gifted political commentator who's relevant right now, especially with regard to geopolitics. But I feel like he's been going through a humiliation ritual with his merch. Speaking of which, I was going to look at that. If I've got my phone, if I've got my other phone here. Maybe I could do it on here. Because someone told me to look at it. And I never did because it was like, I don't know, but apparently it's quite funny. We all need to just build a Skyrim village. Yeah. Reece, do you agree with the 271k theory? Well, I haven't looked into it enough, but I don't think it's the official 6 million narrative. Look at you, Reece, now justifying refugees and asylum seekers. No, I was just giving a suggestion. I'm just making a suggestion. It's not funny, Reece. Our houses in the West Bank are occupied by Jewish settlers. No, I hear that. No, I understand. I should be a bit more sensitive to the situation. They'll call you an anti-Semite but not a liar. Do you watch the UFC? No. Where have you been? What do you mean, where have I been? I've been slacking, to be fair. I mean, I don't know. I just, I don't know. Just slacking, mate. Lazy. What do you think about the new conspiracy theorists about Charlie Kirk being real? About Charlie Kirk being real? What does that even mean? Is that Ellie Gray's book behind you? I think so. Nick Fuentes, a Jesuit. He's a great deceiver. No, I do not hate the Jays. I do not hate them. Nick Fuentes is a Jew. Yeah, well, people do say that. Yeah. And as I say, I think he's gone through a humiliation ritual, and I think he has also got positions which are part of the New World Order, like, for example, being in favour of Venezuela. So, you kind of have to listen to these people like they've all got an ulterior motive, even if you don't know what it is. What are your political views? Yeah, my political views, you know, in an ideal world, I'd be a far-right libertarian. No, I wouldn't be far-right. I'd be a right-wing, socially conservative libertarian. Anti-globalism, pro-nationalism, not isolationist, but sovereign, having sovereignty. So we are told London has Sharia law, but nothing is said about Jews having their own ambulances. Well, that's because you have a Jewish media. You know, because I've personally talked about Muslim arbitration tribunals and how that is a lack of sovereignty and how these people are adjudicating outside of the intended bounds of the law and they're using loopholes. And that's prevalent. That's becoming a lot more prevalent. And the Jews probably do the same thing. And, you know, but with the Jews, right, if they are doing the same thing, then not many people have clocked onto it. Whereas more people have clocked onto the Muslims. Like, as far as, like, officially adjudicating decisions in arbitration. Whereas, obviously, they do have the ambulances, they have the police force. So, that's because, you know, the people who are not liberal and who are critical of, you know, all of these groups that live amongst us are normally Zionist funded, or they are just in favour of Israel and they are anti-Islam extremely. So you have that muddied area where no one really talks about it. Eat the rich, it's the only way. Muslims in the UK are just trying to live. They ain't bombing UK, these stereotypes. That's not what I said, though. You know what Israel is currently doing in Lebanon, Palestine, Iran will just increase immigration. Yes. Well, it's not about immigration. That's not really the primary concern. The primary concern is the loss of life in humanity. Like, if you know people in Lebanon, or even if you don't know people in Lebanon, and, you know, all these other places in the Middle East, there's just people dying all the time. And that's the primary concern for humanity, I would say. You know, yes, the Western countries will be flooded with foreigners because they will be displaced, but the primary concern for humanity in general is that they are being displaced and killed. And the reason that's the primary concern, well, it's the primary concern because it's the most moral thing to be concerned about, but if you are actually looking at it logically, it requires the capture of your government for that to happen. The UK, the Western European countries, America, those governments, it's necessary for those governments to be captured by Israel and the Jews in order to have this displacement and these people moving and into other countries and people dying. So that's why people should logically care about it, even if they don't care about the Middle East and they don't care about Palestinians or they don't care about Lebanese people dying. They should care anyway because they have no sovereignty and their country is controlled by these genocidal people. Trump is a Jew, yes. Do you think Israel may use a nuke on Iran? Well, so, like, it depends on what you believe they actually have as far as nuclear capability. And you also have to think about the repercussions if they do that. So I don't think that they will do that. I think what they're looking for is, in the end, regime change. But for the moment, they're looking to have leverage over Iran, Israel, and the United States. And currently, Iran has the leverage because they control the energy. They control where the energy is going, and they control, like, a lot of energy production. And so it's a war that is currently being fought around energy. So that's what they're probably going to... Maybe they'll make it so that they control these energy choke points or these energy locations, so that then they have leverage, so that then they will make a deal. Because I don't think they want nuclear weapons to be going off. I don't think they want crazy shit that's to happen. I think that they want to make a deal with more leverage. And that's what this whole first invasion is really about. And I've said this before, I think that they'll probably leave after, maybe they'll do something now where they get some leverage, or even if they don't, but they probably will gain some leverage, whether it's Karg Island or the Strait of Hormuz or whatever, and then they'll leave, and then they'll come back. Because they will actually have deterrence and more leverage if they're able to do that. Because they'll go back in a year's time and say, well, remember a year ago when we were having that stalemate and who came out on top? It was the United States and it was Israel in this hypothetical. So Iran is now negotiating in a different dynamic because they don't have the same leverage that they do now. This is the way in the hypothetical world. So, but the thing is, you just don't know. Like even people like Fuentes, I was talking about earlier, who might be able to give the best geopolitical analysis, doesn't really know what's going to happen. But and even someone who predicted this war years in advance, because they just are saying everything to everyone. They're saying they're giving all types of signals, every different kind of signal to every different kind of person or entity. You have to just think about it logically, and you have to think about the fact that Israel are not going to settle for less than regime change and control over Iran and its energy infrastructure and things like that. So how do you get there? And it's a game of, leverage and, being able to manipulate other countries. That's what we're seeing right now. That's what we're seeing with this Trump tweet, where he says, you're going to have to go and get the oil yourself, or you're going to have to rely on us. Because he's saying, otherwise you're going to have fuel shortages, because we are, look, as I was just showing before, oh no, I'll just leave it, but yeah, because wait, no, let me get that thing back up. what is it, this one? The UK has sourced at least half of its jet fuel from the Middle East in recent months after turning away from Russian supplies. And we are receiving our last tanker of jet fuel from the Middle East this week. And Donald Trump is saying that we need to rely on them or go into the strait ourselves. So he's saying that we are with him. We are helping them, whether it's through whatever it is. We are in this. And we aren't getting out of it. So, I can't remember what the question was, I can't lie, but... Bro's hair is majestic, thanks. The hair looks lush, thanks. No kidding, that's what happens when you let others do the heavy lifting. Netanyahu gone to Argentina, something big coming to Israel. Well, maybe it's the lithium, because they are rich in lithium, but I don't know, because the Argentinian president is a total spook and deep state, massively pro-Israel Zionist, and Javier Milei, so yeah, I don't know what that will be about. It might have something to do with AI. I don't know. Diversitarian police are going to be chapping your door any day with these lives. Nuke bomb them. Oh yeah, nuke bomb, right. Yeah, but they're not going to use a nuke. Yeah, so that, okay, so then if they use a nuke, so then... But, like, I don't think that that's going to... I don't know, there's just no world where I see Israel dropping a nuke on Iran. I don't know. You know, because I don't know. Like, has anyone got some good analysis on that? Can you point me to who? Okay, let's say Israel or the United States drop a nuke on Iran. What happens next after that? Fuck knows, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one knows. That's what I feel like. That's why it's so risky, and no one really knows what's going to happen. So. Has Iran been responsible for international terror? Not to the same extent as other countries, you know. This is the final battle. If Iran loses, the entire world will be fallen to Zionism. Yeah. Well, not the entire world, but yeah. Oh my god, did you hear the conspiracy that they were doing weather manipulation in Iran before the war? Well, probably. Reece, you're not a good guy, turn right. What country do you hate the most? I don't know. Hopefully they will eradicate the IRGC. Okay, Reece D. I don't understand why European countries / the US keep funding Israel when will you lot stop? Well, you're asking a British citizen, like, firstly, I've got any sway with the government, and secondly, like the government represents me in any way. The Prime Minister is married to a Jew, and that is something that... What that means is that we don't have sovereignty. We voted for this guy based on lies and lies and lies. We don't have sovereignty. We don't have a parliamentary system. We don't have democracy. The British citizen is looking at it in the same way you are. The honest one, the honest British or European citizen or American citizen is saying, I don't understand why European countries keep funding Israel the same way that you think it. We think the same. At least the ones who aren't totally, idiotic. So... You know, the GB News consumers will say it's because Israel's our greatest ally. Because they've had that propaganda drummed into them 1,000 times. And there's no really changing that. Do you get paranoid or faded or chill faded? I get chill faded. I'm paranoid regularly. Sober. And then I'm chill when I'm faded. Nukes are not what you think from the 80s, so they can be localized. Okay. No country does. The PM is Jewish. He converted a few years ago. Reece, you talk well about the reason for the war, but do you know the spiritual side? I'm familiar with the spiritual side. If you mean this idea of keeping humanity in constant fear, having constant terror, constant death, low frequencies and things like that. And that's real. Because it's provably real. But in order to understand the war and where it's going and the ramifications, you need to look further than the spiritual side. But yeah, Reece, get faded, you're chill, you're okay. Bold of you to assume that I'm not already. It would be messy, but ultimately America would probably come out on top based on their capabilities. You do have to wonder though, why has North Korea been so quiet? They were saber-rattling champs. Yeah, bro, you're telling me to smoke like I haven't already done that. They will not nuke Iran, as the people of Iran are good people. Good idea with the self-sustainable communities, but how do you deal with the loss of work? Do you mean in a GDP sense? Because I don't think that you will have a loss of work. I think you've got work that would go to, it depends on the attitude of the people. If you are willing to sacrifice and work for less, but for a good cause, then there's not going to be a shortage of work, because people are going to be doing it for the good of humanity and their future generations. But that might be pie in the sky. So it kind of depends on your idea. Because Israel is frontline to the West. Israel falls, Europe is next. Oh, wow. I don't know. It's actually the opposite. If Iran falls, Israel has total domination over the Middle East and control of Western society already. And what that means is that they now need to focus on the final target to achieve world domination, which is China. Someone asked me before, is China controlled by the Jews? Well, no. Because people who are pro-Israel but against the war, like, for example, Tucker Carlson, still, and JD Vance, right, still want to have war with China, which involves Taiwan. So, what was the question again? So Israel is the front line to the West in the way that Israel is part of Israel is part of this global control that the Jews will have, which will be over the West, including America and Venezuela and the South American countries like Argentina, and they're going to go for Chile, Marco Rubio. Or rather, not Chile, Cuba. And then they'll have Western Europe, they've got Eastern Europe, and then they're going to go for China. And they'll have the Middle East, so... It's not like Muslims are attacking Jews, so therefore the Americans need to help the Jews fight the Muslims. It's the Jews are fighting the Muslims to have control over all of that territory and America, and they're using America to do it so that they can then go and target China. Like, America can leave Israel to police the Middle East, and just make sure that, and control all of the oil and have access to all of the resources. America, obviously has the Southern Hemisphere, and Europe, which is controlled by the European Union for the most part, or if it's the UK, the Prime Minister is married to a Jew or has converted to Judaism. So then Europe looks after their own region, and then they go to China. That's what will happen. There will be constant war. And China, because I was talking about rations right earlier with fuel shortages, and that might come as a result of the Iran war, but it would definitely come as a result of war with China. 100. So, yeah. The next war will be the last war. It will. This is the current war. I agree. I think that's true. I think we're in the current war, which we've been in, because I would say that we have, and by we I mean Western countries, have been at war with Middle Eastern countries since 9/11, or even before that. You could say the Havara Agreement even, but if you go back to 9/11 and you go back to Iraq, we've been at war since then, and it's just escalating more and more and more. And so that's the current war. Then the next war is with China. That will be the final war, and then there will be a one world government, truly. And it will be that will be depopulate. That will be real, true depopulation. Then there will be no longer 8 billion people, 7 billion, even maybe 5 billion or less people on the planet. I mean, what does a war between the West and China look like exactly? You know, this is a war between the West and the Middle East. This is a war and that's been chaotic, and it's been insane, and it's resulted in things like schools being blown up with hundreds of children dying, and it's resulted in the leveling of Gaza and a total ethnic cleansing and genocide. It's resulted in thousands in Lebanon dead. It's resulted in, you know... So what does war with China look like? You know... So... Yeah. God's in control, yeah, okay. China, Taiwan will be the spark in the East, yes. Yes, yes. And we will go and defend Taiwan. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I've got an audience. I'm quite happy with my audience here, you know what I mean? This is quite good. It's good stuff. We need to send everyone back that don't adapt to our way of life. Wow, okay. Reece, did you like the image of the... Oh, yeah, Spring Bonnie. Okay. So I was actually going to look at the merch, right? I'm going to do it right now. I was waiting for you to join the chat, because I knew you told me to do it last time, and I was like, I'm going to check it. What is it? AmericaFirst.plus. Right? Because someone else was saying it. Oh, well, no, where's the merch? This isn't where the merch is. Tell me what it is. His last name... Oh, Fuentes.store. Yeah, okay, yeah. Alright. What is this? Okay. Bro, what the fuck? Nah, that's kind of hard though. Okay, that is kind of whoever's designing this needs a raise, because this is elite, bro. This Groiper Schizo tee, that's good. All right. Okay, USA quarter zip. Okay, that's yeah. Oh my god, there's the Nick and Candy. Oh my god. Groy Pets. Oh my god, what is this? Yeah, fair. It's pretty good, to be fair. I'll give it to him. Check the Goyim in Abundance t-shirt. I'm on the Fuentes store, it's hilarious. The candy t-shirt, the black and red one. I bought it all, okay. I did see your super chat the other day. Hey, I'm from Preston. He doesn't know where Preston is, mate. Well, the Wang Half merch is so corny. Yeah, okay. Reece, shave your hair for funding. Nah. We've been at war since before. We've been at war before 9/11. The reason Iran is the way it is because European interference. Yeah, Moab Act. It will be US, Europe, Israel versus Russia, Iran, China, as the biblical prophecy suggests. The US needs to focus on the Western Hemisphere and leave Europe to their own decline. That's got to be a Jew. God is in control. Hillel Loki is the god of this dimension. Wait, I see that bicep. Are you training for a Kai Angloid rematch? Oh my god. War with China is just robots. If USA takes Iran, and China can take Taiwan. Well, I think that's, yeah. That's what they want, depopulate. You know, I actually saw, I saw this video by this leftist. I was actually going to react to it. Wait, hold on. I saw this video and it offended me. It offended me a lot, honestly. I've got to show you. We can laugh at it together, and we've got to laugh at why this is such a problem. Really? Oh no! Don't tell me I haven't got it, please. Please. No, I've got it. I must. Oh man. Is this my other account or something? Wait, did I have it? Didn't I save it? Oh, I don't know. It was basically a video of this leftist, like, criticising Mrs. Kent. And Mrs. Kent was talking about, like, depopulation and other stuff. And I was literally watching the video, waiting for him to make a criticism of Mrs. Kent that was actually valid. And then she just kept saying shit that was just so valid and I agreed with. And I was like, what's the point of this video? And then he just plays, like, loads, like a highlight reel of Mrs. Kent on, like, loads of different videos. And I was like, is this meant to be some kind of promotion? That's the only thing I could logically think of. I can't, oh mate, it was a guy who makes the show Nonsense News, or something like that, on TikTok. Yeah, this guy. True Brit, Mongrel Adam. Pronouns in the bio, yeah, okay. So I want to get to the one where it was like Mrs. Kent, but I don't know which one it's going to be. Oh, it's this one.
Just wanted to let you know that I've decided that this year I'm not going to be doing my picnic.
Should be fine.
Yeah, like this. It's this video, right? It's this guy. You know who I'm talking about, this guy, yeah? So basically, Mrs. Kent just makes a totally normal video, and then he just, like, mocks it for no reason. And this just says nothing.
Why? Welcome to the excuse factor.
Like, how do people sit there and watch this? I don't understand.
This weekend, as it turns out, after the successful picnic of 2025, the picnic of 2026 won't be going ahead.
When this war is over.
It might.
Yeah, so I just don't really get why these people, and I see this a lot now, these leftists who respond. I saw a leftist responding to Angloid, and I agreed with Angloid. Hello? Like, he was responding to Angloid going, oh, the Great Replacement theory isn't real and it isn't happening. And it's like, how do you really think that at this point? How do you even seriously believe that? And, yeah, you know, even though I might go at the right wing a lot, the left wing really need to be studied. They need to be had a go at themselves. They need to be put in their place a little bit because they're very arrogant as well. They're very cocky. Like Rise as well. He's another one, very cocky. Like, you know, maybe it's rich coming from me, but he's very, like, up on his high horse, like, stick up his ass. That's a lot of them. So, and they're so wrong as well. They're so unbelievably wrong. Hey, Zach Polanski's right wing. Okay. So, what do you think of the Green Party protest? Oh, a total clown show. Literally just a total and utter clown show, and most of the people there should be deported. Zach Polanski should be deported, definitely. Just like, oh yeah, pointless. I mean, I didn't really, you know, they blame the far right. This is the same thing that the right do. They blame each other. It's like you watch the far right or the right wing blame everything on stuff that it isn't, and then subscribe to solutions that aren't going to work, and you think, oh my god, you people are crazy, idiotic. So then you look at the left, and the left do the same thing. They say, oh, it's far right people. So it's far right people who are manipulating the weather, and it's far right people who are depopulating you, giving you experimental COVID vaccines, who are deploying false flags like 9/11, who are faking the moon landing. It's the far right who are starting, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not the far right, and it's not really the immigrants either. It's actually the people who have colonized you. So, yes, I have slept. That's a bit rude. We shouldn't support Zelensky because he's a Zionist. Well, that's not the only reason, but he's also, yeah. Who built the underground? Where would they deport Zach to? I would deport, personally, Zach to Poland. Back to Poland, because his parents are from there. Where, and his parents can go as well. Where do you think the millions of Iranians displaced are going to migrate to? I wonder, probably Europe. They're just so brainwashed. Polanski is a Jew. Yeah, they are brainwashed and he is a Jew. What do you think of the green... Oh, yeah, I already answered that. All right. COVID is a man-made virus. It's made countless young people bedridden. Your hair... Yeah, that's true. Your hair looks like a girl. My hair looks like a girl? Or my hair looks like a girl's hair? So you didn't really think that one through, did you, buddy? Are you pro-Palestine? I mean, not really. I'm pro-England, but I'm against Zionist Expansionism. People say, yeah, whatever, Spring Bonnie, thank you. People say, are you pro-Palestine? Well, no, I'm not pro-Palestine. I'm pro-England. And... you know, I hope that it's not to say that you want the Palestinians to be genocided or that you're indifferent, because you're not indifferent. You'd rather they weren't being killed and, you know, displaced and things like that. But I just don't subscribe to the pro-Palestine ideology. Or, yeah, because I'm just pro-England. Like, yeah, so. Have you read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion? Yes, to some extent, yeah. People in the West who protest for Palestine don't care, they just want to push their socialist idea. Looking more wham these days, have you been hitting the gym? Thanks, yes. I went for a 100 kg bench yesterday, but I failed. But I got 97.5. So, it was close, it was close. It was close. I reckon maybe in another 2 weeks I could get 100, so that was alright. Thanks, Spring Bonnie. No, not pro Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland. Well, if you want me to be totally honest, right, I would actually like it if the South was its own country, separate from the North. So I'd actually then be pro South England. If you you know, because I don't want to be associated with them up there. Because, no, I'm joking, but no, I would do that though. I would if I was the colonial leader, like Prime Minister, if I had the power to, then I would separate North and South England, make it their own country. But not because I hate the Northerners, right? That's not the reason. The reason is because there's more sovereignty for the people. There's more representation, you see? Because if there's a parliament for South England, North England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, then that's more power with the people. More direct democracy. And make it like the Greeks did. North Mogs, to be honest, you lot are soft as clots. Okay. So, I disagree with that because the reason why the North doesn't Mog is because they don't know how to speak correctly. And you might say that, well, it's just an accent, and you have an accent in the same way, but it's not really true, right? Because in the South, people in Surrey and, you know, London, kind of, and, you know, Brighton or Sussex or even Cornwall kind of sound the same, basically, apart from, like, Bristol. But then up north, you travel 100 miles and you're speaking to a different species, basically. You know, you're going from Scouse to sort of, you know, Yorkshire to then Newcastle. It's like, that's like 3 different species of English person, isn't it? So I don't know what happened really with, that's what I'm saying. You know, the interpretation of the language, something went wrong there. That's what I'm saying. So, but you know, I'm just joking. I love the Northerners. You know, I do. I tolerate them in this country. Birmingham accent is 2 points on a universal credit application. Okay. What you think about doctor strikes? Is there? I mean, I suppose there was strikes of everybody. What, 2026? The British Medical Association has announced new strike action by resident doctors at NHS organisations across England from 7 a.m. on Tuesday, 7th of April, ending on the 13th of April at 7 a.m. So, there's two angles you could look at this. One is that this is a pattern that we're seeing with not just doctors, but train drivers, maybe, and nurses. I believe there was a nurse strike. And this is because they don't give them good working conditions. And they don't give them good pay. And things like that. And so what will this cause? This will cause immigration, because an African is willing to work in these conditions, or an Indian is willing to work. Yeah, about pay. I mean, the government have actually offered them some real shit, though. The government have offered to cover some out-of-pocket expenses resident doctors face, including exam fees, as well as increasing the number of training posts to address what the BMA has described as a jobs shortage at the start of year 3 of their training. And resident doctors will also get the opportunity to move up through pay bands more quickly. There are 5 different pay points starting at nearly 39,000, rising to nearly 74,000. And they've got a pay rise of 3.5%, which is above inflation, or the official inflation number, I think. So you have to sort of ask about what they're asking for. Wes Streeting said the BMA's expectations were beyond reasonable and realistic. Oh, right, they're saying that inflation is set to increase because of global events. I see. So economists predict the Iran war will drive up prices, so that's why. So I would say that they're just going to import more people. You don't want to do it? Cool, we'll just get some more Africans to do it. Most likely. Wes Streeting is the WEF puppet. Is it not a good thing that we have diverse accents, as is cultural? Yeah, you could say it's a good thing. Well, I don't think that the Scouse accent is a good thing, or the Birmingham accent. I think that they are a net negative to society. I think if they spoke a bit, you know, more normally, then that would probably be a net positive, because we'd be able to understand each other and have conversations. But, you know, yeah, there's a bit of diversity there. You know, maybe that's a good thing. UK is just getting its karma, lol, okay. Yes, I agree, Asaya. Alright, should we see if we can get some people on? Reese looks extra delicious today. Okay. Opinions on Sneeko. Do you know, I was actually going to one second. What do you want to do? Yeah, so I was actually going to make a video about Sneeko, because he's really going off the deep end on the Islamic propaganda. In his response to, I think it was Nick Fuentes. I'll just get it up quickly, so I'll give you a little preview maybe of the video. Oh, Keir Starmer to hold emergency Cobra meeting in hours as UK's last shipment. We are so good. We are so good. Our last shipment of jet fuel approaches. I might have to just despawn out the map now. Make your bed. That's alright, that'll do. Alright, let's go to... I think it was Sneeko Updates. Sneeko Updates. Sneeko is definitely homosexual, by the way. I just want to put that out there. I'd be amazed if he isn't. So, where is the clip? 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 Here it is. Alright, let me put my headset on. Okay, so he's saying that Sharia law is better than what we have in the West right now, right? He says, we complain about women in burqas, so then what's the alternative? Your woman going and jumping on Clavicula's dick? So, like, if I was to say, for example, we don't want Sharia law, we don't want to have any women in burqas ever at all in the UK, you don't ever want to see it, he says, well, what's the alternative? Your girl's going to go meat ride Clavicula? Which, if you buy that argument and you fall for that rhetoric, you are extremely low IQ, because this is making a spectrum a binary choice, which it clearly isn't. It's like saying, I don't want to be fat, and then you say, what, you're going to be anorexic? Well, that's not really the two options, because your wife or your female or your girlfriend isn't going to be in a burqa or a prostitute, because there's a massive middle ground where there's room for normalcy and Western ideas and Western beliefs, right? So that's what you said at first. I could probably just play this out on my phone. Yeah, I'm dialed in, trust, I'm dialed in. So dialed in. I'm really, the thing is, I don't like using Twitter too much, because it's just AI. I'm pretty sure everyone on Twitter is just AI.
Judeo-Christian values, absolute coal mine from Sneeko today.
He's such a cold.
Sharia is not enforced. This is just populist rhetoric at the club. Also,
So I'll play his argument for you.
any day. So here is the pushback. It's funny that they call me a liberal, but I'm saying the Sharia law is better. They complain about Sharia law because they're going to say, oh, the women have to cover themselves up in burqas. Like, so what's the alternative? What, your girl is going, your girl jumping on Clavicular's lap when she sees him at the club? Also,
that is just a really gay thing to say. That is homosexual. That's what a gay person would say. It's like, well, so she's not going to wear a burqa, then what? She's going to be a prostitute? It's like, that's like what a gay person would say. And also it's someone who has never spoke to a real woman in their life would also say. And it's someone who is low IQ, really low IQ would say, because you're operating in extreme binaries with no middle ground and no nuance.
it's not enforced. The burqa's not enforced. This is just populist rhetoric.
He says the burqa's not enforced, and that's just populist rhetoric, except for the fact that the burqa is enforced, and I know it's enforced because I've seen it. I've seen people in real life, not only just walking down the street, but working in supermarkets, customer-facing, wearing the burqa, like in self-checkouts. Which means either the girl is a raging attention seeker, an attention whore, or it's being enforced. But it's definitely being enforced because it happens a lot, and whether it's customer-facing in a supermarket or not. And you could ask a Muslim woman, maybe they'll give you a better insight. Is a Muslim woman, let's say they work in self-checkouts or at Sainsbury's and they're wearing their burqa every day, is it because they're being forced to, or is it because they're an attention whore? You can answer it better than I can because you've got that perspective. Everyone's just saying, Alhamdulillah. Okay.
That's not true. You're supposed to dress modestly, the way that early Christian women dressed. This is what nuns dress up in a hijab too. They get upset about that. And
in a hijab, so not a burqa. In a hijab, okay.
They also talk about jizya tax. They say jizya. Do you know jizya tax is about 2.5% of your... So jizya for non-believers is a tax for people who aren't Muslim, and they have to pay 2.5%. That's what jizya is. Do you know that Muslims have to also pay that 2.5% tax? It's zakat. It's charity. So everybody has to pay the same amount. Non-believers give 2.5%, and believers give 2.5% to charity. What do we have to pay in America right now? 50% in New York?
Same exact argument they just made before. Well, you want to pay 2.5%, don't you? You don't want to pay an income tax that was established just before World War I that you don't even need. So but the real argument would be, do you want to pay 2.5% tax or nothing? Because that's what we used to pay in the West, is nothing on the income tax. So, and then he just goes on, I listen to this more, he just goes on more, just incoherent rambling. It's kind of crazy.
30% almost in Florida, 20-30% in most states. It's brutal. And again, I'm not advocating for Sharia law. People are gonna, this is advocating for Sharia law. No, America does not coincide with Sharia law. This place we have the Constitution here. These.
Wait.
Values are not set on that. But to act like that's worse than whatever we have with Judeo-Christian values is stupid.
And it's just like, he hates America, bro.
Yeah, I'm not going to go any further than this. This is just gay people arguing back and forth, but it's fine, you know. Are you seriously taking Islamic knowledge from Sneeko? No, I'm just saying someone asked me about him. So I'm just telling you, this is what I wanted to tell you, because I wanted to tell you that he's extremely low IQ and a bit of an Islamic propagandist also, it seems. There's no need for burqa, hijab or none, normal classical Western clothing. What's so bad about wearing a hijab? Why does it trigger so many Europeans? Well, I don't really have an issue that much with the hijab, but what it is foreign and not normal. Like, not something that we're used to seeing. So it might trigger a kind of reaction. When a woman covers it forced or seeking attention, if she doesn't, it's her choice, lol, fix up. I don't know what that means. Let women do what they want, who cares? No, I do care. I actually don't want to see anyone wearing a burqa, ever. Really. I can't lie. Especially not in a customer-facing role of, working in a supermarket. Definitely not. Because that is weird, and it's not Western, and it's bizarre. It's definitionally weird, and it's foreign, and, it might make you uncomfortable. And that's reasonable. That's normal. It should make you uncomfortable. In fact, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, you've probably been numbed to it via relentless propaganda. The hijab is slightly different, but the burqa is really bad. And, yeah, should be nowhere in Western civilization. I know women who have gone back and forth on wearing the hijab. It's a complicated relationship. Yeah, sounds like it's attention-seeking. No, I'm joking. Can men stop talking about women like get a life to this Muslim boy? Sneko is using Islam for clout. Do you not have a job? I do, yes. Reese, you are aware 99% of Muslims don't put on burqa? Yes. Well, I wouldn't say it's 99%. If you talk about 99% of women, I don't know if I'd go that far. Maybe it is there. But I don't really see where the point is. So, it's enforced no Muslim woman wants to wear a burqa in the West. Burqa is option, hijab isn't. So yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. I can't tell. And then even if you read the Quran and you took the verse, this most likely can be interpreted in multiple different ways. This is kind of the problem with religion, is that religion, this is the beauty of religion. If you are the person who's using it for the mind control function, is that it can be interpreted differently, therefore you can never resolve any argument with it. You can never come to a conclusion because there's always a different perspective that you could have. And that's why when Muslims or Christians defend their religion, they attack the other one, because there is a perspective that they have or that they take from the verse that a Muslim won't, or vice versa. Maybe because they want to, what's something wrong in the Quran that the elites use to control people? Well, it's not necessarily that, like, well, rules. Literally just spelling out rules, like giving you things, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't, like taking it from a book, from a man-made book, rather than coming to it yourself, rather than thinking about it and creating civilization with, you know, maybe pagan or some other ideology or whatever, like just something that's based in nature, something that's based in truth, with maybe the influence of texts written in ancient times, teachings from people that had a lot of followers and lived morally and virtuous lives. You know, living by the book and dying by the book, I think that's a form of mind control and division, especially because people aren't willing to question their religion. And they aren't, like, for example, if you have a Muslim friend, right, and you condemn Muslim arbitration tribunals because they are infringing on your sovereignty and they are manipulating your law to adjudicate things in a way that you would never have allowed when the law was written, they will say, well, you know, that doesn't affect you because they are Muslim, because they belong to that tribe. They can't look at it objectively. They can't look at something like that objectively because Islam is part of them. It's part of who they are. So they are reflexively defensive, even if it doesn't make sense. So for, like, if I say that we need to ban Muslim arbitration tribunals because since 2007 they have been adjudicating domestic violence cases and giving the man a punishment that would not be acquired from a traditional court, like, for example, anger management classes, they will say, well, it's all in the family, and, you know, the man is given a second chance. And how does it even affect you anyway? When what they should be saying is, that's crazy, those people should be deported, and we should crack down on allowing shit like that. But they don't say that because they're Muslim, they're part of the tribe. Same thing with Jews. This is why you have Jewish supremacy. This is why you have, it's not just about the Quran. This is why you have Jewish supremacy. This is why you have a Jewish international state. This is why you have this is why you have the Jewish trifecta. This is why you have the Jewish trifecta, because even though left-wing Muslims, or rather left-wing Jews and right-wing Jews, disagree on Zionist expansionism or immigration, where a right-wing Jew will say that that Jews need to be colonial and take over Palestine, whereas a left-wing Jew like Polanski will reject that, and then a left-wing Jew like Polanski will then open up your borders to have refugees come in, they are ultimately still Jews and working for the same transatlantic international organization and conspiracy to overthrow Middle Eastern countries and flood refugees into yours, because that Jewishness connects them. And it's even more in particular with Jews because they are a persecuted people. They've been kicked out of 109 countries. So there's even more affinity with their religion. And it is slightly different also with Jews because they are ethnically Jews. That you might say Zach Polanski is not, he's not a religious Jew. But the point is that they are in this cult. They are in this system. They have this affinity with the ethnicity, religion, whatever it is. Skin color, sexuality. This is what I'm talking about. LGBTQ cult. Same thing. Well, operates in a different way, but same thing really. So this is mind control. This is where people aren't able to build bridges between two different ideologies and come to a consensus and come to a understanding. Instead, they choose their side. Like, who do you think the Muslims are going to choose? Like, you could have the most based right-wing anti-immigration Muslim. You think he's going to vote for Restore Britain? He's going to vote for the party that puts his interests first. This is what they're trying to do. This is what the right-wing are trying to do. They're trying to tribalize people. This is what Hugh Anthony says. They're trying to make it so that white people tribalize and vote and act in their cult's best interest. And Restore Britain is a cult. And the right-wing nationalist movement is a cult. It's a homosexual cult. It's full of gays. And people who are sycophants, who idolize Rupert Lowe as well, and idolize Elon Musk, and are part of this cult. So, yeah, cults all around. You know, I would like to, it's almost nice, it's comforting to be part of a cult, I would say. I think that's why people are drawn to it, because it's like, oh, this person's like me. You know, I felt left out from society. I felt, what's the word? You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just rejected from society. But this cult shares my ideology and my opinions, and they're going to look out for me. And ultimately, they maybe have the same end goal as me. So, you know. I don't really remember what the question was. Oh yeah, the mind control question. No, I will not be voting reform. Forced cerebrosalin injections for each Somali. Cerebrolysin. Nootropic peptide mixture derived from pig brain, used primarily in Europe and Asia to treat dementia, stroke, and traumatic brain injury. Oh, that's good. Ostracized, that is the word I was looking for. That's exactly right. It's all identity politics. That's how they lure people in. True, so true. It's not a cult. It's see you next Tuesday. I'm so confused. What side is this kid on? Well, that's good. That's why you should. That's why you should listen to me. That's why you should listen to me, because you don't know what side I'm on. That's how you get the most objective analysis. You take it from the guy. You don't know what side he's on. You don't know what agenda he's pushing. You don't know what cult he belongs to. So, thanks. I'm a Muslim, and apart from banning halal butchers, I don't see a problem with Restore Britain. So, apart from making it a hostile environment for Muslims, you don't see a problem with Restore Britain? Okay? Fair enough. I like dopamine. I think it may be a problem. The ultimate goal for them is to destroy the West, destroy the Middle East, and uplift themselves. And take on China. They both secretly work together. Spend too much. They do. So true. So true. That's so base. They do. Oh, that's so true, Springboard. That's the best comment you've ever done. The Muslims and the Jews, they work together as well. They work. What is Shabana Mahmood if not a Muslim working for the Jews? If she's not a Shabbos Goy, she is. I'm gonna go live later. I feel like I just feel in the mood today. I'm gonna go live later. If anyone watching, 66 in the chat, 666. Yeah, live at like 10 o'clock, I reckon. Spend too much time online. Polanski is a Khazarian Jew. Damn, bro's brain is actually cooked. Genuine psychosis, schizophrenia. This is what happens when people spend too much time online. 111 countries per 2026. You're always talking about UK this, UK that. What are you doing besides yapping on TikTok, brother? Okay. Facts, thank you. What's your views on Jewish police force and Jewish ambulances only for Jews in London? I did talk about that earlier. Yeah. I think that it shouldn't be a thing. It's a lack of sovereignty. They are the first class citizens in this country. So we need to remove that at any means, at any cost. Okay, not at any cost, but we need to remove it. Shout out to the... Okay. At this point, bro, just be one with nature and chill in woods or something. I don't know. Yeah, okay, but I like doing this. I enjoy doing TikTok lives, and I enjoy making videos, so... Otherwise, my purpose is a delivery driver or a salesman. Fuck that, bro. I'm not being a salesman. I could be a salesman. Fuck that, bro. I'm not doing that. I could be a delivery driver. Nah. I'd rather like try and do something like make people think or question things, you know what I mean? Just found the live trying to figure out his standpoint. Do you agree with? Well, if you like, I'll upload this live to my YouTube channel, which is Reecetalking. You can find that on YouTube, or Reece Carlton, and you can watch the whole live back, and then you can make your own mind up. And maybe you could leave a comment and say, this is what I think. Maybe leave a like if you enjoyed it. No, Leon. Muslims who are in Western countries' politics are Jews. Yeah. These world leaders, Muslim, Christians, or Jews, work together. They don't even believe their faith. What are you looking for in a man? When are you next posting on YouTube? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Islam with the broom of the Jews. I'll definitely be there. Go on the JewTube, Reece. Go on YouTube. Go live on YouTube. Well, I do want to go live on YouTube, but I don't have enough people that watch me because I suck. So I need more people. Or if you want me to go live on YouTube, you need to provide me with shit to talk about. Because obviously I can go live and I can talk about things that I have things pre-prepared, but it's a lot easier currently with the chat. That's kind of what I do. So yeah. But I can't go live later on YouTube because it's going to be too late. So I'm going to have to go into the other area where I am sometimes. Thank you, Monty Neptune. Appreciate it. Whitechapel is the no-go zone area. Bro, I've made better comments. Bro, I used to be paranoid like you. You just got to believe God's in control. Bro, like... even if I believed that God was in control, I'm still going to be paranoid because the weather is manipulated. You know, like, I'm sorry to go back to that whole, the whole thing, but it's like, if God is real, can he interfere with geoengineering in England? Because I can't take it anymore. So... and I don't even believe that. I don't believe in, and as I say, I don't believe in a God. I believe that we live in a simulation, if anything, because what's the most likely theory? Not the Big Bang, not that we were created by an all-loving, omnipotent creator from the Bible or from the Quran or from the Talmud or the Torah, but a creator that is smarter than us, that has created a simulation that we are experiencing in human form. The soul is experiencing in human form. Like, we decode things in the same way, like our brain and our eyes and our ears decode things and light in the same way that a computer decodes Wi-Fi. You can't see the Wi-Fi though, but we can see the screen, the TV, the phone. We can see these things, we can feel them, we can interact with them. Yeah. And people have done, a lot of people think this, a lot of physicians think this. It's not like a pie in the sky idea, totally. Like, it's mocked. People say we live in a simulation. They say, oh, this guy thinks we live in a simulation, so you can't take him seriously. It's actually thought by a lot of scientists. The Big Bang isn't an explanation for the beginning of the universe. Yeah. Dying is a system update correcting corrupted code. Talmud loving. World is run by Hillel, hence we are in hell. Don't worry, bro, one day you'll get it. We were created by the Anunnaki. Hillel rules Earth for now. Religion is a cult, yes. God's prophecies are being fulfilled by humans who believe in him. Why would God help England when they destroyed other societies and made England the standard? He's given us free will. We don't have free will. We don't have free will. And we are not conscious. We don't have free will and we are not conscious. I mean, you could say we have free will. I get that. I understand that argument, but we don't really even have that. Because you can't do whatever you want and just without consequence. And we aren't conscious. We definitely aren't conscious. If we were conscious, we would know how we got here. If we were smart enough to be conscious, we would know how we got here. We would know what we would be able to explain everything better. Like, the scientific developments that we have made are nothing compared to what previous civilizations may have made or what other civilizations could make, because we don't even understand how we're here. Or if we do understand, if there are people that understand, they're hiding the knowledge from us, which is probably true. Like, they hide everything. They hide the cancer treatments. you know, they hide lots of stuff. So, you know, Nikola Tesla. So there's multiple simulations, but you know, and also, what are the chances of there being other intelligent life in the universe? I would say 100%, because the universe is so big. Or if it isn't big, right? Like, you know, it depends on where you want to go. Like, the universe has been proven to be big by science and NASA, so therefore, then there has to be other life. But then if we were created, then why would there not be other life that was created? Why would it be only humans? Either way you go, logically, the chances of there being other life are very high. And what is the other life? Does the other life exist in a planet like this one? And if so, where is their civilization and how far is it going? Is their civilization under the control of people who wish to depopulate it? Are they thriving? Hospitals and medical care shouldn't exist if God exists. God can heal the sick, correct? Well, you could say that the way that we had hospitals before, we used a lot of copper, we used linen sheets, there was a lot of this belief about frequency and, you know, alternative healing methods, which you could say were given by God for humans to then understand and apply. So that would be, I think, the interpretation. This is my... Okay. Identity politics are good when it benefits my side. Only people with Rh negative blood remember how we got here. We are conscious. You're just stuck in your subconscious programs under your conscious awareness. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah. Yeah, no. We are conscious. You're just stuck in your subconscious programming under your conscious awareness. Which is probably true, to be fair. We have/had free will, and with our free will, we then built laws. We are like passengers experiencing a roller coaster on a set path. Say you, not we. It's a man-made construct designed to control people's identities to force the fear of punishment. Why aren't the Jews flooding Eastern Europe with refugees, though? Probably because that's where they're going to live, whilst Israel is colonizing Iran. Because Israel is inevitably going to get attacked by Iran and its allies. So they live in Ukraine and Poland, where they've kept it nice. I can't lie, Reese. Have you seen the Muslim woman in London? I'm willing to betray my people for them. Don't think of it like that. Go for it, bro. This is my solipsism. I'm just joking, Daft. Calm down, bro. I'm just joking. But the leader being Jewish has nothing to do with the party. It does. It really does. Do you mean the Green Party? It has everything to do with it. It has everything to do with it. I'll tell you why. Firstly, the left and the right need to be made as radical as possible. That's happening by people like Steve Laws on the right and Zach Polanski, or, you know, far left creators on the left. And it needs to be made into a clown show. It needs to be made into a circus. The left-wing party needs to be laughed at and mocked by mainstream society. because the right-wing party is already having that happen to it. So if your alternative has to be the same, best person to do that is a gay vegan Jew who isn't even English and doesn't know how to run correctly and wants to legalize drugs, open the borders, and cause civilizational chaos. He will be the Jew that they elevate. It's the Jewish trifecta. This is what I was talking about earlier. You know, is Trump Jewish? And if so, does that have something to do with the Trump administration? Jews will play key roles in both left and right politics. Reese, why did Epstein want to take down Jeremy Corbyn? Probably because he is anti-Zionist. I'll take being laughed at for everyone to have freedom and rights. Do you mean... Oh my god. Reese doesn't care because he would betray his people for a Somali girl. Exactly. That's exactly correct. I'm glad that you're understanding. Where is Hugh Anthony? I don't know. Rupert Lowe posting about saving the country when he got kicked out of a football club is hilarious. Oh, I agree. Totally agree. His son-in-law literally started this war. The gas prices are now $4.99. What? Go on, say it. How long did it say what? About the... I'll take being laughed at for everyone to have freedom and rights any day. Yeah. So we have rights currently. If you mean as opposed to restore Britain or reform where they're going to remove your rights, what you need to do is withdraw yourself from politics and understand that these false idols are never going to save you. And these insane policies are never going to save you. And also, mass immigration leads to a lack of freedom because you have to share this island now with more people, and that means you have less freedom because you have to share it with them, which is what they want. They want to have homeless people literally everywhere on crack doing mad shit because the homeless people are going to have it. It's all going to be legalized or whatever. Speaking of Somali girls, Amira was texting me the other day. Why is she texting you? She should be texting me. What? Can you text her and say why are you texting? No, to be fair, I leave her on red. Is it so uneasy to live in the hell that you made other people live through? What? The right-wing propaganda is brainwash. The way I'm betraying my people in 0.5 seconds for those Arab Muslim women in London. Okay. We don't have rights. Okay. Low is pro-Zionists, yes. Only if she makes good rice and banana. Colonizing brown women is fine. Now I'm just gonna, this is gonna get clipped up. Let's share her. Okay. Come on, Reece, join the club. I know you want an olive-skinned Arab woman. Question, when was the last time you slept? That's a bit rude. See, why do you resort to the ad hominems now that I make your point look ridiculous and pathetic? You say, hey, man, you look tired. Yeah, okay. You know. Okay, the chat's got a bit crazy. I'll happily share my resources with someone who's been through the amount of things a refugee has. Oh my god. See, this is just why it's so cooked. Yeah, this is why it's so cooked, because the left wing... See, this is what I'm talking about, man. The left wing could be the answer. The leftist position could be the answer if they weren't so ridiculous and idiotic. Yeah, well, I'll open up my border. This is probably just a Jew anyway, bro. I'll open up my borders so that you can have a share of the slice as well, because you've been through so much as a refugee. Like the people in France right now with like fucking weapons, who have come through other European countries to get to France, who then go into the UK, who don't like us, who hate us, who are in military camps, military bases in Kent. You'll let them refugees in? Are you okay? See, this is what I'm talking about. The left could actually have a populist movement if they acknowledged the problem with the rich, the billionaires, the deep state, and immigration, and identity for white people, and they dropped all of this performative virtue signaling about how refugees need to be all welcomed into Western countries. But instead, you remain on the hardline far left option, and you push people to the right. You say the centrists are choosing either the person who says welcome more refugees, or Steve Laws, who says deport every non-white. They're gonna still go to Steve Laws because your position is that incoherent, which has been done by design. That's been done intentionally. If there's not a single policy from the right that you've agreed with, that's because you're in a cult. That's because you're in a far left cult that can't see reason, most likely, or it's because you've got no life experience at all, basically. Like, if you can't understand why someone in a Western country in the year 2026 would want to reduce immigration and deport people, then you are in a cult and you are living in a bubble and you haven't experienced the real world. And you don't understand the implications of mass immigration. Yeah, and it's what the left used to be before pandering to identity politics. Obama was the left, he was the deporter-in-chief. And if it was still like that, then it would be the most popular party, the most popular side. If the leader of the Greens wasn't a fucking gay vegan Jew who wants to open the borders and put everyone on crack, then they would be a lot more popular. You wouldn't have to be concerned about Restore Britain or Reform UK. You would have a coherent party with a normal leader who's actually English, who understands the problem with mass immigration, who doesn't just say hope not hate, who doesn't dance around on a stage like a clown, who doesn't blame everything on the far right. It's not the far right that is causing mass immigration. It's not the far right causing weather manipulation. It's not the far right in this country that is making it so that public services are going down the shitter. Is it? And the far right in this country that's making it worse in Australia and in Canada and in other European countries. In fact, the far right are in power in Poland, or the right wing are in power in Poland, which is a functioning country, and in Hungary. It's where the liberals have been in power where it's became worse, but they just refuse to see that. And in the same way that the left wing blame it all on the far right, the far right or the right wing blame it all on the immigrants, and you talk past each other like clowns. And it's just painful. It really is painful. And you've got people like Sargon of Akkad, like Carl Benjamin, who are somehow more reasonable, and you can take them more seriously than people who are on most of them on the left. That's kind of a big problem that we have. Because we had the left that went crazy, the liberal policy that went crazy, feminism, abortion, and abortion is still going crazy. And now you have the alternative to that, which is the right wing. But the right wing is full of complete idiots, like Steve Laws, like Carl Benjamin. And as a result, and all of these sycophants, all of these Restore Britain sycophants, all of these Reform UK sycophants, they are all idiotic. And now that's the alternative. That's what we have to work with. And we have to work with that because the left still aren't coming around. They still aren't admitting they were wrong. They still aren't understanding that this liberal policy is the bullet that is being fired at us by the colony that runs the colonial people that run us. Anyway, that's that tangent done. I'm done with that. Weather's not that good. It's cloudy here where I am. It's a little bit bright, but you know, what's wrong with feminism? Carl Benjamin is Jewish? I don't know about that. Is he? I mean, it would make sense. Should we do a nose check? Nose check's not really giving due. He's just giving fat, ugly, like, chud. Not that I can talk, obviously. Got a nose job, yeah. How are you dealing with racial rage? I just call them the N-word. I just go up to them, or the P-word. I just go, no, I'm joking. No, but I go up to them and I just say it to them. Guy cut me up on a roundabout, black guy, and I just got out and I just said it to him. No, I'm joking. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is a joke. Restore and Reform are extreme. Oh, okay. Not his real name. Okay. I'm going off in a minute. Yeah, I don't know about that one, buddy. Maybe. Genuine question. Have you sat down with refugees and asked them about what they've been through? Well, I do. I mean, I've spoken to people who know refugees. Like it's in a secondary way, you know, not directly, but secondarily, where someone has told me, a refugee that they know, who had an experience. And there are refugees all around the world. But what you're missing, the point that you're missing is that we have refugees coming from France, which Zach Polanski, and by the way, these aren't refugees, they aren't migrants, they are an army. They are military-aged men being housed in barracks. They are trained. There are a lot of sleeper cells, probably, from Iran. There are people that can be groomed into becoming sleeper cells for Iran, for political Islam. And this is a human trafficking operation. And this is what Zach Polanski would be complicit in. So, yeah. You know, and it's like, yeah, I can't really, you know, I can empathize kind of with a refugee because, but I haven't had anything like that happen to me. No one's ever, you know, I've never had a message on my phone saying that you're about to get bombed, so you need to move. You know what I mean? So there is that, and I've also been lucky in my life, and I've grown up with good parents and a good family, you know, raised well in a nice place. So the perspective is missing slightly, but that's not necessary when you're talking about refugees from France. Of course, there is extremist that dislikes, yeah. So what party do you plan to vote for? I plan on voting for nobody, maybe the National Housing Party, but probably no one. Bro said asylum seekers should be put in concentration camps. And I don't think that that's the most unreasonable thing. If you're going to come from France and break into this country and you're a military-aged man, you should be subject to some sort of punishment. And whether it's some kind of community work or unpaid labour, I don't think that's totally unreasonable. And this will only need to happen for a certain amount of time, because then people are going to stop coming. It's going to be the most effective deterrent. So, if I really looked into the Green Party, I'd want to vote for them. Okay, buddy. Bro, why can't they claim asylum in Saudi? Pack it up. Yeah, like, you think this is some kind of cancelable comment. Like, you think that bringing this up is, like, unpopular. If anything, it's going to get more popular. The idea of putting them in concentration camps is going to get more popular. Especially as you see more wall-to-wall coverage from the mainstream and alternative media about the crimes asylum seekers are committing. Not only concentration camps, but the death penalty for actual criminal offenders. Because my point was this, if you remember, I remember what you're referring to, is if we're going to have concentration camps, who would go in them? Well, politicians who have betrayed our country, people who have committed heinous crimes, and maybe you could argue illegal invaders who have broken into your country with a total flagrant disrespect for your sovereignty, for the people, and for your law. And when you need to apply a deterrent, it makes sense. But women don't get that. women don't, like, honestly, women don't get that. Especially young women. You can't understand taking a drastic and harsh measure, even though it's reasonable and logical, to apply deterrence. This is why women don't start wars, you see? Same thing, same reason. Thank you, Asterios. Yeah, okay, Lily. Okay, Lily. If they put me in a concentration camp, then you're not going to be able to, sit there and watch me, are you? So, be careful what you wish for, because you spend hours in the live. Don't forget that I can see how many hours you spend in the live. True, stricter laws would keep people safe. It works. We've all seen it. If you think voting works nowadays, you are genuinely deluded. True. Would you like... Okay, I'm going now. I'll answer one more question, I think. They have Wi-Fi in the concentration camps. No, they wouldn't. Build them outside of the airports. Bro is genuinely tapped. Okay, leave then. Like, hello? Why don't you just get off? Why don't you just leave, Lily, okay? Why don't you just go somewhere else? You're probably not even here for the political commentary anyway. So why don't you just go somewhere else? You've got the whole internet. Yeah, you get me. Yeah, don't talk. That's what I thought. Or leave. Okay, we'll take some guest requests. I guess we got a few and then I'll go. Okay, this person's gone. Katie Lily having a hard time here. Katie Lily, if you want to just like... Yep, okay.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hello, Abdi. What would you want to say?
You live in the UK, right?
Yes.
Did you know in the UK, 120,000 kids go missing every year?
I didn't know that exact statistic, but yeah.
Yeah, so what I believe that how do I say it? Those kids end up in our food chain, in McDonald's, and yeah. So you are eating people.
I'm not gonna deny that. Yeah, I don't think that's totally crazy, because especially when you think about the majority shareholders of the big companies who sell you the food and the abortion centers and industries and things like that. So, I mean, I think that there's maybe a little bit of credibility there, but maybe we need to prove that. We need to get someone to prove that.
Yeah, and compared to like how many McDonald's, how many burgers do they sell?
Too many. Yeah, it's too many.
Yeah, compared to how many cows there are in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you eat McDonald's?
No. Or KFC as well. KFC did an advert where they dipped a human in gravy and then it came out a chicken wing, and it was really weird.
So do you believe in reptilians?
Maybe. I don't know. Erica Kirk could be one because she's very strange, but I don't know. Because a lot of people say it, and a lot of people have the same story. And if you are able to, if we are living in a simulation that is based around frequency, then in theory it would be possible to shapeshift.
What I believe the reptilians come from underground.
Okay. Yeah. Like you mean so do you think it's a flat Earth?
I do. The Earth is round, but I do believe. How do I say it? The ice wall, and there's beyond. There's beyond.
Oh, the ice wall. Yeah. Okay. There's more. There's more.
Yeah, and I do believe under the ocean, right? There's a whole world underneath.
Why do you believe that? What?
I don't know. I don't have any evidence. So.
Okay. So it's just like okay. So do you think we live in a simulation as well?
A simulation?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe no. Well, I'm a Muslim. We don't believe that we live in a simulation.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem of the mind control religion.
So what do you believe in?
I think we live in a simulation, man. So you think it's like Ninja Turtles, like where they're underneath the ground?
Teenage Mutant, yeah. No, not like that. No. How do I say it? Have you ever watched Atlantis? The Lost City came out. It's a Disney movie, 1999.
No.
Animation. Right. Go watch that.
Okay. What's it called again?
Atlantis, the Lost City.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't watch any films like that. Yeah, so. Yeah, so do you live in Somalia?
No, I live in the UK. I live in Birmingham.
Oh yeah, you kind of. I mean, the accent kind of gives it away. How do you find Birmingham?
I mean, the people here are just, how do I say it? When I walk down the street, it feels very unsafe. Like people just, for no reason, they just come up to you and just.
And that's a Somali saying that.
Yeah. What's wrong?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I had to say that.
What's wrong with me being Somali?
Nothing.
Right. Yeah, people just got a problem, man. A lot of people here, they're just mean, miserable, insecure. Yeah. So, are you in London?
Near London, yeah. But I don't know. Did you ever visit Somalia?
Yeah, I went there when I was in 2014. When I was 2013 when I was 6 years old. I stayed there for a year and then I came back.
Do you think you'd be going back there anytime soon?
Do you want me to go back?
Well, I do. No, I'm joking. But would you?
Would you? Like live there?
Yeah.
No.
Why? Because it's not the nicest place.
I mean, there's not that many jobs there, so.
So why do you think Somalia is like that?
Because it's the Western countries that fund coups. You know, the Al Shabaab is a TR group, and the West basically funds those type of people, right? They fund them to destroy Somalia. So it's really just your fault. Y'all caused the problem, and then y'all say, "Why are you coming in our country?" I don't want to stay in the UK. If Somalia was a successful country, you think I'll be staying here? No.
Well,
If y'all basically leave us alone, well, we'd be normal. You'll be okay. What's so funny?
Oh, is it just me you found that so funny? Oh, that's good. Is that the only reason? Is that the only reason, or could there be other reasons?
What do you think?
Like the average IQ?
Well, that's just it was done by a racist. He didn't test everybody there, did he?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know what to say. That's great. Why would I want to deport Somalis from England when they're this good? That is just amazing. Are your parents first generation?
Yeah, my dad came here when he was 15 years old.
And he came because of the militias that were funded by the West.
Yeah, like no, what happened was the Civil War happened in 1986, where the president he decided to stay in power. We had democracy, right? So he decided to stay in power and did not basically wanted to become a dictatorship, and that's when the Civil War happened, and that's when we all fled.
So it kind of began with corruption inside Somalia?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be a bit unfair to exclusively blame the West then?
I mean, yeah, we were fine before. The school was paid off. It was basically just socialism, right? Capitalist socialist. Like the UK, for example. Right, it was basically like that before the Civil War in Somalia. Yeah, everything was fine, and then the Civil War happened, and yeah.
Alright, man. Yeah, I'm not even about to relitigate history, to be fair. What do you want to see in the future for the UK? What do you want to, you know what I mean? If you could change one thing about Birmingham, what would it be?
The Birmingham City Council, they're bankrupt. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bankrupt, so. Yeah, if they were unbankrupt, that would be great.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can unbankrupt themselves.
You know, why is the UK so poor despite conquering the whole world and taking 45 trillion from India, and they're still poor? Why is that?
Probably because our monarchy was captured by the Rothschilds.
Mm.
And also, it's been getting a lot worse because of mass immigration.
Mm.
We've got loads of Somalis coming over, and they're net negative contributors to the economy, so they just take and take and take and take, and no, there's no give. Or there is some give, but it's not enough. So that means that we are a welfare state and going towards socialism and not as capitalistic, not as rich. Because we have to give all of our money to these Somalis and these Pakistanis who fuck their cousins and are inbred and have IQs below 70 and can't integrate into Western society, so we have to pay for them. That's one reason.
So do you think UK should remain white country?
Oh, for sure.
Like basically just import white Europeans instead of other colored people.
Primarily, yes. How is the live restricted for that, man? That's so rude.
All right, safe then.
All right, thanks, Abdi. Appreciate it. No hard feelings, though. I think you're a great guy. Don't have me whacked.
Yeah, I don't think you're a racist. You're just saying like, valid points. I understand.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, see ya. That's got to be the most reasonable Somalian on planet Earth. No, actually, I had a different one before. He was pretty cool as well. Do you remember that other one I posted on YouTube? That was good. Yeah, that was good. See, I just feel like the Somalis are pretty real. They're actually quite real. Like they know that. They know a Somali's not going to turn around and be like, "No, we are actually we are actually positive contributors." They know that they're not. They know they're scamming Minneapolis out of millions or billions of pounds. So, you know, they're real. They know it's the Jews. They know that the Jews are a problem. They know that they are a bit of a problem. So, real. Somalian Unk, yes, yeah. Abdi was baiting you to get the warning. Cousin marriage is common in the United States as well. What, because of all the Pakistanis that they've imported? Reese, we are going towards lockdown. Yeah, maybe. It's more than bananas and rice. Yeah, well, apparently so. All right, I'm going now. So, yeah, but I'll be on later in the... I think. I mean, don't take my word for it. But, because I'm a serial liar and gaslighter, but I will maybe be on later. At least I'll think about it. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed the live. I will upload this one as well. I'll upload it. I will. So I'll do that. I'll do that right now. So you can watch the live back if you missed anything. And that'll be on my YouTube channel, which is Reecetalking. Or Reecetalking. It's on the internet. It's on YouTube. You'll find me. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a good one. I'll see you later, maybe.